my pleasure to serve as your host today for today's media kickoff. On behalf of the City of Richmond Fire and Emergency Services, Henrico Division of Fire, Chesterfield County Fire and EMS, Hanover County Fire and EMS, we'd like to welcome all of you and thank you for joining us today as we celebrate a 63-year partnership and officially kick off the 2017 Metro Area Fill the Boot campaign for muscular dystrophy. I'm Shelly Perkins, and I am a morning show co-host on Star 100.9 along with Bill Bevins, and really an honor for me to be here. It's 63 years is a very long time, and for me, the work that the firemen have always done, even as a child that I've seen, was probably one of the first memories that I have of knowing the importance of taking care of those who can't take care of themselves. So it's quite an honor for me to be here today. Again, this is I think the fourth year that I've been involved with this. Bill Bevins is normally here with us, and he's sorry that he couldn't be here today, but it is really an honor for me to be here, and thank you in advance for the work that the firemen do to help Muscular Dystrophy Association. So I do have some very special guests, as you can see on the stage with me, that I'd like to introduce before we get started. We have the City of Richmond Mayor, LeVar Stoney. Keith Andes, who's retired captain, Richmond Fire Department, and president of IAFF Local 995. Chief Melvin Carter, Fire Chief, Richmond Fire and Emergency Services. Chief Brian Turnage, Assistant Chief, Richmond Fire and Emergency Services. Chief Tony McDowell, Fire Chief, Henrico Division of Fire. Deputy Chief Rick Ettinger, Chesterfield County Fire and EMS. Chief Jethro Pyland, Fire Chief, Hanover County Fire and EMS. And also joining us, not on the stage, but in the audience, professional firefighters from Richmond, Henrico, Chesterfield, Hanover, and MDA staff and Goodwill ambassadors. So thank you very much for being here. Today we officially kick off the 2017 Fill the Boot campaign for the Richmond metro area with the shared goal to free kids and adults from the harm of muscular dystrophy, ALS, and related diseases that often take away everyday freedoms like walking, hugging, playing, and for some even breathing. At this time, I'd like to introduce Keith Andes, retired captain from Richmond Fire and Emergency Services and president of the Richmond Professional Firefighters IAFF Local 995. Keith?
Good afternoon again. Thank you for joining us this afternoon as we celebrate this 63-year partnership. The purpose of today's event is to draw attention to the hard work and determination of firefighters across the region as they rally to support children and adults living with neuromuscular disease. Firefighters have fueled MDA's mission to assist families with life-saving help. They fund research to find treatment and cures, advocate for individuals and families affected by muscular disease, and rally communities to fight back. Firefighters dedicate countless hours every year at MDA Summer Camp, where thousands of children with muscle disease experience a week of barrier-free fun while gaining confidence and independence. We are proud to stand together and continue to be a part of this long-standing tradition. Before we go on, I would like to share a little history. IAFF support for MDA began in 1954 when the organization committed by proclamation to support MDA until a cure is found for all neuromuscular diseases. Its commitment has remained strong to this day as it fuels MDA's mission to find treatments and cures for muscle debilitating diseases that weaken muscle strength and mobility. Since its beginning in 1954, the IAFF has raised $609 million for MDA. Now is an exciting time in the neuromuscular disease community. Thanks in part to participating firefighters in the Richmond metropolitan community, we anticipate more new treatments and development during the next 5 years than in the previous 5 decades combined. With Fill the Boot dollars we raised together this year, MDA will be able to help save and improve the lives of families right here in Central Virginia by providing them with life-enhancing resources and support. Fill the Boot is an honored tradition for both the IAFF and MDA, and as you will hear today, it plays an important role in advancing MDA's mission. Now let me introduce someone who can tell you firsthand about the help and hope Fill the Boot contributions bring. I'd like to welcome our MDA Goodwill Ambassador, Ms. Caroline Pennell. Please give a big, heartfelt welcome to Ms. Caroline Pennell.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Being diagnosed at 9 years old, it was interesting to me to see what MDA provided, and what they provided for me was a camp where I felt like I wasn't labeled as someone with a handicap disability. I wasn't labeled as somebody who was different from the rest of the crowd, and that's really something that you'll never be able to mimic, and you'll never be able to give those years to someone, you know, and say you can't have them anymore. And so it's so important to keep fundraising so that kids can go to camp and have that barrier-free week, and, you know, meet lifelong friends that won't ever look at them and judge them and see them as something different than who they are, which is people just like you and me. But growing up, you know, being 21, almost 22, it's like, what does MDA do for me now that I don't go to camp anymore? And MDA, they do so much more than just camp. They fundraise, they create friendships, they provide jobs, they make the community a better place. And really the main important thing that they're doing now is research. And as Keith said, they will have more progress with cures and treatments in the next 5 years than we've had in the previous 20 years. And so for that, I want to say thank you to MDA, and I want to say thank you to the firefighters. You guys are the #1 supporters of MDA, and in the last 63 years, you have raised over $607 million, and that's not something small. That's something that you should each individually feel very, very proud of, and you are making a difference. And in the last year, the FDA has approved 4 treatments for neuromuscular diseases. And I can't say thank you enough personally, because I've seen people that have gotten the treatments that I know. And I can't thank you enough for improving their quality of life. And I'm looking very forward to improving my quality of life in the future. And I know that together we're going to be able to do it. So thank you.
Ms. Shelly?
Thank you, Caroline. Caroline shares a very personal and real story, puts a face on why we're all here today raising money for MDA. If you need more information about why we're here, if that didn't sell you, then I've got a couple of people that are going to do it next. We're going to find out why Fill the Boot means so much to families that MDA serves. So I'd like to introduce our next guest, Louise Zingaro, Executive Director of MDA of Greater Virginia, and Darcy Warren, Fill the Boot lead.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Thank you, Shelly, and distinguished guests. I'm delighted to be with you today and to say thank you to the City of Richmond Fire and Emergency Services, Henrico Division of Fire, Chesterfield County Fire and EMS, and Hanover County Fire and EMS. Through your hard work and dedication, and with the support of your communities, over the past 5 years alone, I don't know if you know this, but you have raised close to $1 million to support MDA's mission. That's incredible. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts and from our families. Darcy now will share with you some information about what that money provides.
Hello and good afternoon. One of the most extraordinary services offered by MDA is the Clinical Services Program, which includes a nationwide network of more than 150 state-of-the-art MDA care centers, including 43 specialized MDA ALS care centers. We have 2 state-of-the-art care centers right here in Richmond at VCU Health Systems Children's Hospital and the VCU Care Center at Reynolds Crossing. Other services MDA provides include support groups, assistance with obtaining medical equipment, as well as online support, including MDA's website at www.mda.org. Check it out and discover other great ways you can get involved to help MDA. Funds raised during Fill the Boot campaign are also support cutting-edge research around the world, seeking new treatments for more than 40 muscle diseases. This past year, 4 new drugs were approved by the FDA. This is a hopeful and unprecedented time, and with over 150 clinical trials currently going on as we speak, we know we are getting closer to finding treatments and cures for our diseases. If you ask the young people that are here today about their favorite thing that MDA does, they'll tell you it's MDA Summer Camp. For thousands of kids affected by muscle disease, MDA provides a week of barrier-free fun while gaining confidence and independence at camp. The kids enjoy safe activities that are designed for their abilities, from swimming to horseback riding to arts and crafts and paddle boating. It's a place where there are no barriers and having fun. The campers, counselors, and medical staff who attend camp, past and present, will tell you it's a transformative experience, and I can tell you from my experience that is the truth. Full of awesome adventures where kids gain self-confidence, build independence, and find strength. We are very proud that proceeds from Fill the Boot support MDA Summer Camp for local kids at the Airfield 4-H Conference Center in Wakefield, Virginia. I invite you to visit our website to find out how you can become involved in MDA at a local level. We would love to have you.
This is such an exciting day, and we hope that you'll be inspired from listening to what Darcy said and what from Caroline said. I know the firemen that are here are going, and the fire ladies are going to have a great campaign this year. It's important for you guys to know that 100% of the money that is raised in our community stays in our community to help support families right here in Central Virginia living with neuromuscular disease. And if you haven't had a chance to have a conversation with some of our visitors today, like Ben or Caroline, we want you to be inspired by their stories and know that you're helping people like them every day. The commitment of our local area professional firefighters has not gone unnoticed. In fact, our next distinguished guest is Mayor LeVar Stoney, who's going to share a very special announcement. Mayor?
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, and thank you all for coming out today on a not so hot day, right? If anybody were to have any issues, we would be taken care of right away because we have Richmond's finest with us right now. So drink some water, but still, I mean, you're gonna be okay. You're in good hands. Now, I wanted to come by today because of the work, not only the Richmond firefighters, but firefighters all around the country have dedicated towards this. As you saw, you heard the numbers, $600 million plus. Over $1 million, nearly $1 million here locally. This is the sort of commitment that I think has matched the commitment of those who work with MDA to ensure that people like Caroline get the best quality of life possible, not right here in the city of Richmond and beyond. But also, I wanted to state that, Caroline, you mentioned summer camp. And one of the most rewarding summers I had when I was in college was I was a camp counselor at a camp with kids who had muscular dystrophy and other what people would call obstacles. But what I learned in that camp was that they wanted to have fun and smile and be children just like everyone else. That was their desire. And we did everything we could to make them have a fun day, full day. I mean, they had me exhausted of camp. And I want everyone, when you think about putting a dollar or two or 100 in that boot, think about those children. Think about the lives that we can actually impact and touch just by dropping a significant contribution in that boot. So I wanted to come by today because on behalf of the city of Richmond, I brought with me a proclamation proclaiming today, or this month, Fill the Boot Month. I'm not going to read all the whereas clauses because you all have heard all that today, but I want to read a couple. and that is, whereas the Richmond Professional Firefighters Local 995's endless service to MDA has given so much hope for families fighting life-threatening muscle diseases, and whereas it is a long-standing tradition that feeds into the 63-year tradition of the International Association of Firefighters have been collecting for MDA on the national level, and now therefore I, LeVar Stoney, Mayor of this great city of Richmond, do hereby proclaim the month of August 2017 as Fill the Boot Month in the city of Richmond, and recognize the Richmond Professional Firefighters Local number 995 and the Richmond Fire Department for their efforts during the month of August to collect money in their boots for MDA. We want to recognize the many hours they put forth to raise money, the much needed funds for the families of MDA. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the seal of the city of Richmond on this date, in July 24th, 2017. Signed, LeVar Stoney, Mayor of Richmond. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you very much, Mayor Stoney. Now I'd like to call out the president of the Virginia Professional Firefighters Association, the VPFF, retired Battalion Chief Robert L. Bragg III, to share a bit about the VPFF and to read our Virginia State Proclamation.
Good afternoon. Virginia Professional Firefighters Fill the Boot Month. Whereas the Virginia Professional Firefighters sponsor Fill the Boot campaigns each year for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and whereas the Virginia Professional Firefighters selflessly donate their time, energy, supporting and battling against muscular dystrophy, ALS, and related life-threatening diseases that severely limit the muscle strength and mobility, and whereas for over 63 years, the International Association of Firefighters has raised $607 million for MDA in the annual Fill the Boot campaign. And whereas Virginia Professional Firefighters are committed to service to the Muscular Dystrophy Association, has provided significant support to families fighting life-threatening neuromuscular diseases. Now, therefore, I, Terrence R. McAuliffe, do hereby recognize August of 2017 as the Virginia Professional Firefighters Fill the Boot Month in our Commonwealth of Virginia, and call this observance to the attention of all the citizens of the Commonwealth. Signed, R. Terrence McAuliffe. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Bragg. All right, so we got that business over with. Exciting to be supported by the City of Richmond and the State of Virginia. That's wonderful. I'm going to call Keith Andes back up here because he's got a trophy award to make, so that sounds like fun. I don't know what that's about. You ready?
I'm sad, but I'll bring it. Chief Carter, if you would join me. Over the last several years, we have gone in with MDA to have a axe presented to the department that had the most collections in that year. And so sadly, Chief, we have to give it up this year, but I can guarantee you that we're putting the gauntlet down today, that it will come back in their possession for next year. So without further ado, Chief, for your comments, and we'll present the axe to Chesterfield.
Thank you, Keith. My comments will be brief. Thank you, everyone, for coming out today for this very worthwhile event. Oftentimes, our community, particularly our fire service family, we come together for matters of crisis, the 911 call crisis. But today, we're coming together before the 911 call occurs in a way that may have long and lasting effects for MDA and neuromuscular disease. The fire services community can be awfully competitive, and you're about to see that right now. But I can tell you, in this competition, particularly for this region, there aren't any losers. We're all in this together, and we're in this to win. So on that note, Captain Andes and I will present this axe to Chesterfield for now.
Very nice. That was almost gracious. He was so close to gracious. It's so great though to see this kind of competition between localities because you know what? In the end, everybody's really winning. Isn't that the truth? We're going to let you go in just a couple of minutes. I just have a few announcements to close up this wonderful event and let you enjoy the rest of this not so hot day. First, I'd like to acknowledge the wonderful folks who are in attendance today. Heroes, all of you, all of these people, heroes in my eyes. So let's hear it for the fire chiefs and our firefighters today. You guys are awesome. And if you're not the firefighter or not the chief and you're listening, make sure that you come and see these heroes in action. Encourage your friends and your family to join in now through Labor Day. When you see them in front of stores with their boots in hand, on sidewalks, at social events, support them. And of course, you can always stop by the local fire stations and make those donations too. We are encouraging you to contribute in this time-honored tradition. A special thanks to our guest speakers who touched our hearts with their compelling words. And we'd like to thank MDA staff who contributed their time and energy to help this event, this kickoff, to be successful and memorable. So thank you. You guys really are the best. I'll leave you with one last thought. Fill the Boot helps to fuel MDA's efforts to find research breakthroughs across diseases, to care for kids and adults from day one, and to empower families in Central Virginia with services and support. So here's to making 2017 the most successful year yet. I'd like to ask the mayor to come back up to the podium for one more special final announcement.
Well, I just actually leaned over to Chief Carter and said, could you grab the boot, because I would like to make the first contribution to, and Keith, come on over here.
Someone, anybody.
I like that $100 bill he's looking at.
Remember, this is civil service, right? Here we go. Yay. The first of many. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Stoney, for your generosity and your support. What a great guy. I challenge each of you to be a champion, and if anyone wants to follow in the mayor's footsteps, the boot is right there. Well, the boot right up here if you'd like to contribute to this great campaign. Again, I'm Shelly Perkins from Star 100.9. It has been an honor to be with you here today. And look at Ben coming up. Sorry, Mayor.
He's a whole lot cuter than I am, I'll tell you that.
I gotta tell you, that was real precious right there. So you're gonna have to try a little harder next year. Again, thank you for having me today, and here's to a successful 2017 Fill the Boot campaign.